So this is the Carbon Fury build kit, and let's put together. I'm going to show you everything and why that we use it. So this is the Beta FPV AIO Matrix 1S, and the reason why I use this 5-in-1 board is because the chip availability. Chips are hard to come by right now and be available at wholesale. And I got these on wholesale and I was able to get them fast. I don't want to wait months to get a chip, and this one was the best one that was available at the time. It's been tested throughout the community and a lot of good feedback on this chip. As long as you don't hit the middle chip on the VTX, this protects the middle VTX. It actually holds the camera cage up off of the chip, so you don't have that to worry about. The motors, these are the VCI Pro Lite motors. They are the best power to weight ratio motors. I have done a lot of testing with motors and how much thrust they give, and these give a really good amount of thrust. Some of the best amount of thrust, and they're very light. And then we went with this camera. It's a very light, nice looking camera in your view. This is the Bleed Eye Bleed Eye camera, and it's a really good camera. I really enjoy it because it's lightweight and it plugs right into the board, which is very nice also. You do want to remove the plugs on the AIO because it doesn't really fit that well without removing the plugs, and I show a 1-minute video on how to do that. So it's not that hard to remove the plugs. If I can do it in a minute, you can handle it also. On the motors, I do trim the motor wire length about a little bit over a 1/2 inch. I literally take my finger like this, and then I cut the other side of the wire and strip it. And that's why I use these components. I think it's the best components to be using. So let's get on with the build. So your AIOs come with screws, and these Beta FPV Air Matrix boards come with 2 sets of screws, which is exactly what you need. So you're going to get these polypropylene standoffs with it. It's got an ugly side where it prints on the bed, and you can't really do much about that, but turn the ugly side like in. And this is your battery tray here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the screws and I'm going to put it through the battery tray. You can just take it and put it through one of the holes. The battery tray has little tabs on it for you to be able to pull it up like this, and as long as you just take all these screws and go ahead and slide them through the battery tray, you can just go ahead and mount these standoffs pretty easily like that. So there we go. Got one more here. And I always recommend people to go ahead and build the drone out before you mount it on. That's how I've done it for years now, and it's always turned out really good like that. You just have to get your motor wire measurement down a little bit better. Alright, so the battery tray has a hole for the USB, and so does the frame. We're going to line that up. and then we're going to go ahead and put it on in between those ears there, and then you're going to take a standoff and you're going to put the ugly side on the inside of it, and then you're going to take a screwdriver and the frame, and you're just going to screw that standoff in from the bottom. You're going to snug it up, and it's going to look like this, and you might have to turn your TPU around a little bit to line up the other holes, and it's going to look just like that with the ugly side on the inside. Alright, we'll go grab another one here and do the same thing. Now you can choose what motor screws you want to use. This is a freestyle build, so I will be using the robust metal screws. I do like using as less weight as possible on my builds, and that's why we're going with this battery tray. It also comes with another battery tray, and either one is acceptable. I like to make it as light as possible because the power to weight ratio to me is very important when you're doing freestyle or racing. There we go, we got the standoffs mounted. It's going to look just like that. Alright, once you get the standoffs mounted, you're now going to take your drone, look at the USB port, and you're going to match up the USB port with the USB hole. Kind of push them down all together, and there's a stopping point for you to stop at, and they stop right there with the USB, I mean not the USB, with the gummies. Alright, now we're going to take and mount the motors. So here I got my motor screws, and I'm just going to cut this bag open. Dump them out. Now there's a lot of different ways. If you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, you can definitely get you a magnet and just take a magnet and go like this. And it makes the screwdriver magnetic. Or if you don't have a magnet to do that with, you can also get, like if you want to install with peak screws, you can also get a glue stick and dip your tip in a glue stick. I've done that for a long time when it comes to doing peak screws, and it makes things a whole lot easier. But now we're going to go ahead and mount the motors. I keep them kind of loose until I get all of the screws in there. And then I go ahead and snug them up. You don't have to get these super tight. You just need to make them snug. And then you'll see the wires are kind of like everywhere. And I'll just take a pair of tweezers and I'll kind of like tuck the wire down in and make it even with the arm. Just like that. There you go. So now it forms with the arm. I know some of this is pretty self-explanatory, but I want to go ahead and go through all these steps. That way you can see exactly how I do it. There we go. You can also do it with your finger pretty easily when it comes to making the wires look nice. It's almost required to have a magnetic screwdriver on how small these screws are. That way you don't have to like mess around with having a like a pair of tweezers or something to install them. And you also don't want to cross thread these screws. These are metal screws, steel screws that go into aluminum housing or aluminum mounts. So you don't want to cross thread these. You want them to just go in nice and smoothly. If you feel any tension when you're doing this, just back it out and start again until it goes in smoothly. Alright, and there's that one. I got one more motor here. There we go. We got those on there. Snug them down. Make sure the wires conform with the arm. Now this wire here, I'm going to pull it back like this, and then the camera I'm going to push down and put it all in the middle, and also the antenna I'm going to put it up there with the with that also. Now I'm going to just take the plate and slide it in with the camera and everything on it, And now there's a couple ways you can do this. I suggest actually, once you get that on there, now taking your camera mount, and the wires are going to go up, and the bottom mount is going to go down. So I push the front of the camera, and then I just grab an arm and I pull it to the corner. Grab another arm, pull it to the corner, and then I grab this and kind of just grab the corner and put it in there. And your back of your mount will lock into the back of this camera. Alright, now I normally start out with like the middle hole. So I'm going to grab a screw here, and I'm going to go to the middle hole on the camera mount, which is like the fourth hole, and then that is going to line up with this standoff like this. And now you can screw that first standoff in. And I found it's easier to either start with the front or the back. So now I got the front on there, and if it feels a little loose, you might want to grab a longer screw. This one does feel a little bit loose, and I have some more of these black screws laying here that are longer, so I'm going to use the black screws. And that's why I like to put extra screws with these frames. That way you have a kind of a choice of screws, what screws to use. Yeah, that one sticks out a little bit further. There we go. And now I'm going to do the back. Now the back, it comes with an antenna mount, and let's see if I got an antenna mount laying here. Alright, so here is the antenna mount, and you're just going to stick a screw through the antenna mount, and it's a little bitty thing. Kind of looks like a pyramid with a screw hole in the back of it. Now this is going to go on the back. So put it through the frame and kind of line up the hole. And sometimes you might have to flex it just a little bit. So if you've gotta flex it towards that, it's not a big deal. That's kind of normal. And then face the antenna mount on the inside and tighten it up. Alright, and now you're going to take the two arms and loop them in on the camera mount. And I normally go with the middle hole on these also. And I'm going to show you a little trick here in just a second. So I push it in, and that's going to be on the underside of this arm. So it's going to be on this side, and then you're going to roll it around and then put it in the hole. And you can hold it with your thumb. and then I'm going to screw it in. If you have problem lining up the standoff, you can take your finger and kind of like push down on the standoff and line it up. There is a hole in the standoff. You do want to get it in the hole. And as soon as you see the camera mount start to rotate, you've got it tight enough. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go from the bottom. And we're going to go in the middle hole. Where the fourth hole is the middle hole. Push it through. And then put it on its edge like this. And you can, the way it's designed, you can put it in the hole and hold it. And once it's snug, there you go. You got one more to do, and that's the antenna. So what I normally do on the antenna is I take and I make sure the middle is separated pretty well, and then I put my antenna through, and it holds it pretty well like that. If you want to though, you can take a soldering iron and melt you a little bit of TPU, or even just take its own TPU and just melt it on there, right on the center of that right here. But it stays pretty well without melting it. Now if you're not happy with this camera angle and it's a little too steep for you, you can grab this like this and take a hair dryer or a hot end and just use your hot blowgun to heat up the back just a little bit. It's best to do with a hair dryer, that way you don't mess anything up. But really, this drone is really fast and the camera angle is kind of where it needs to be. But everybody flies at a different angle, I understand, so to each his own on that one. But this is the Carbon Fury build. Your battery will slide right in there, and it's ready to go, guys. We gotta just put some props on it, tune it, and I'll leave a tune in the description for you to copy and paste in your CLI, and you'll be able to save that, and you'll have the Carbon Fury official tune. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.